Patshow is not affiliated with the NFL nor the New England Patriots. It is what it is. And it is time to kick off the new year with an all-new, all-awesome Patshow. I don't know about you guys, but I enjoyed the hell out of my break. I put on weight, I drank to my heart's content, and everything was more delicious, flavored with the tears of everyone who feels like they've been wronged by the Patriots. Oh, boo-hoo-hoo. We're turning over a new leaf, and my resolution is not to give a flying Foxborough fricassee about what anyone says about my favorite team. So now, let's review Patriots-Jets. Let's take a look at all the teams who have a chance to come in and lose Saturday night, January 13th to the Patriots in the divisional round. Hot takes, breakdowns, and so much more. On with the show, LFG, let's friggin' go! Patshow!
Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Let's talk about Brady and Edelman! Talk about Gronk and the Kentucky Dead! Talk about Leonard and the Longley! Let's talk about Belichick and his team! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go!
Ho, ho! Mesdames et messieurs, football freaks and gridiron geeks, Pats pals the world over, we welcome you back to episode 19, the first of 2018. Pat Show, your old pal Fitzy here alongside the Minister of Pats Propaganda, Mike Dussault here on the Pat Show. And I'll tell you what, the Patriots, they may or may not have gotten the #1 seed in home field throughout the playoffs, but that's none of my business.
They snuck in. They limped in. They limped in. You know.
Yep. Oh.
I mean, hey, we're just happy to be here. We're just happy to be here.
What are? Let's see. Let's go over all the narratives as to the Patriots limping into the playoffs. So let's see. Tom Brady. Let's see. So far, we've got Patriots #1 seed, home field throughout once again. The Patriots cheated their way in.
Yep.
Thanks to they survived the ground. The referees helped them get there because there's a cabal, there's a collusion.
Yeah.
The Pats Illuminati once again helped them get in there. Tom Brady is playing his worst football of the past decade.
And
they're limping in and don't belong where they are.
And Tom Brady wore a scuba suit that might not be a part of the equipment protocol. I think somebody was trying to sell that one on Twitter as well, which, you know, he's been wearing that for 7 years at least.
Right.
So I don't know.
Scuba Tom?
Yeah.
I hate the Scuba Tom
I do
outfit.
too. Well,
he does, like, for some reason, that neoprene bodysuit that he wears is so tight, it's like it squeezes all the emotion out of him. He's always so, I mean, I know if he's going to be wearing the neoprene scuba suit, he's going to be so freaking cold that he's maybe not going to be as fiery as always.
Yeah.
But he always looks so dour. Like, there was a sideline shot. I put it up on the Fitzy Instagram, at FitzyGFY. Take a look. There's this picture of him sitting on the sideline with like the Jay Cutler like coffin cowl jacket over his shoulders with the scuba suit, and he's just emotionless, and he looks like Dieter from Sprague.
Right.
Like, now is the time that we die.
Now's the time when we don't convert third downs.
Exactly. Exactly. So Brady's not playing very well. The Patriots are super banged up. Let's see, we went over the whole surviving the ground, replay gate, and cheating.
Yeah.
Any other reasons why they don't deserve to be where they are
I
or
don't
have no
know.
chance?
You know, maybe they fired up the weather machine again. I don't know, this weekend. You can tell Belichick to turn it down now. We've had enough of this 2-degree weather. But, you know, I figure it's cold, so I'm going like offensive lineman. I'm going sleeves out, you know, sleeveless. It's cold, but I'm going to manage.
You're like Belichick, like the most gridiron gangster move of 2017, as we now welcome you to 2018 and the Blitz for 6. I'm afraid, much like the Death Star is fully operational. Belichick stepping out Sunday morning at 10 a.m. when it was, the kickoff temperature was 4 degrees. The kickoff temperature Sunday for Patriots-Jets was actually lower in degrees than the number of Super Bowls Tom Brady has won. So cheers to you, Patriots fans, for going out there on New Year's Eve and ending the year the way we want to begin this year and basically ride 2018. Lubed, hydrated, and fully victorious. It was Belichick coming out in shorts and a T-shirt was so awesome.
Okay, this wasn't a T-shirt, Nick. Come on. Mark Daniels of the Providence Journal is like, look at Belichick out there in a T-shirt. It was a hoodie, guys. It was a cut-off hoodie, but it's a hoodie. Don't call it a T-shirt.
Right.
I got so far. I got triggered. I had to step away from Twitter.
The guy that actually keeps the hoodie database was triggered by this. Sorry, I can't believe I'm stepping to your territory right there.
You're giving him too much credit. I mean, you know, the T-shirt is thin, but you know, it's what. I mean, at least it's got some thickness to it. But it was like snot freezing cold weather. That's like, having been away from the cold for a while, I went outside, you know, I live pretty close to the stadium. It's like, you started to feel it within a minute, and then God bless anybody who sat through that.
I went for the day before the game. You know, here's one of those obnoxious, like, you know, hey, listen, as somebody who's had a torn labrum before, I'd like to tell you, no way he can play through that, Bob. I just went for a jog Saturday morning. It was like 10 degrees outside. I know. I don't know why. I just felt the need to, and I had a lot of New Year's, a lot of end of the year holiday mirth. That tweener week. I mean, like, there's 7 days the 7 days from Christmas to New Year's, and apparently mine and everyone's goal is to gain at least a pound for every day that goes between Christmas and New Year's. Long story short, I went for a jog. I felt like I got stabbed. Like, like it was like the full Paul Pierce. Like, it was miserable. That's too soon. I apologize, everyone. It was it hurt like hell, though. So how these guys go out there and play for 3 hours? How Dion Lewis runs into 5 300-pound human beings with the reckless abandon he does. And I've officially switched from Tom Brady should be MVP of the league to I will now entertain Gronk MVP debates to now I think Dion Lewis is the MVP of the team and should be considered MVP because without the contributions he makes in the second half of the season, where the hell are the Pats? Who do you think is more important towards that second half success for the Patriots that have no place in the AFC? Yeah,
I think Dion Lewis was just huge. I mean, it's because it's how you write it up. You know, you're like, the weather starts to get cold. That's when you kind of want to lean on a running back. And I mean, they haven't had this. And I mean, when was the last time? I mean, I honestly might go back to 2004 with Corey Dillon, where they actually had like a running back who can make something out of nothing and really just dictate a game. And they just haven't had that. It's such a wild card, and people spend so much time talking about all of the problems of the Patriots limping and their struggles on third down, but it's like the real focus for teams is going to be Dion Lewis because you can't just worry about Tom Brady now. You really have to focus on stopping that guy. So it's a big thing.
Mike Reese, one of the most necessary and great follows for ESPN Boston, tweeted out yesterday, Patriots running back Dion Lewis, the last 2 games, 103 offensive snaps, 50 carries for 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, 11 receptions for 64 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It's good, and he wasn't.
That's
even
Marshall
really,
Faulk 2001 good.
Yeah, and he wasn't even really catching the ball earlier in the season.
No.
So they've really just, you know, as Burkhead and White have been out, and they just leaned on Lewis. And I mean, I was having a heart attack the whole game. Like
with 2 hands, he was like, "Here, hold my beer."
I know, right?
Literally, he's like, Burkhead, I'll do your job. James White, I'll do your job, and I'll also do my 5'8" human being job. Guy is unbelievable.
He's great. I mean, it was such a sigh of relief when like the last bell whistle sounded, and we're like, we made it. Lewis is healthy, Gronk is healthy, Brady's healthy. You know, I know there are other guys, obviously, that you know they're going to need, but I just think with those 3, that's your Super Bowl. Those are the guys who can get you.
That's the core 3 on offense that we need to keep healthy. And apparently, the defense has been given, thanks to Yinsberg, a breath of fresh air as well that came in the form of somebody whose motor, at age 39, feeling just fine, was cranking at the end of the game. We'll get to all that later on in Pat's Tweedia, Electro Breakdown Zone, and so much more. But let's take one quick look at the final game of the 2017 regular season with the Jack's Abbey post-shift postgame. Graphic, there it is. Brought to you by our good friends at Jack's Abbey. Post-shift Pilsner. It's a delicious beer. You buy it, you drink it, and we all have a Merry Christmas. Okay, yes. So, Pats Jets, your tweet was, I thought, perfectly appropriate for the game. This is just one giant hold my breath.
Yeah,
this is 3 hours of hold my breath.
I know.
Because you know they're a better team. They were having trouble setting the edge early. The Jets have a couple of feisty running backs with McGuire and Bill Powell, who's got 2 first names, and one huge fan on the other side, and Bill Belichick. They're going to do what they can, but Bryce Petty is just not. Bryce Petty's a perfectly fine second or third quarterback. He's not an NFL starter. Obviously, Hackenberg is so bad. There's no chance they would have put him in. He's so like they're going nowhere. All you want to do is see him, but they know he's so bad they can't. They got to see if we can squeeze any last juice out of the Petty fruit, as opposed to even putting Hackenberg in, which is just miserable. Pat's offense was slow out of the gate. They got that first
fast
touchdown.
Out of the gate,
fast out of the gate,
slow out
and
of
then hit the wall.
And
so I think rather than go over the Pats Jets game, it's more, what did we see there that either is going to encourage us for the postseason, or what did we see in Pats Jets that's going to not discourage us, but maybe worry us going into the postseason?
That's a great question, Nick. I think you're really attacking this the right way.
Wow, right? It's almost like it only took me 18 Pat shows to finally get.
We're not just going to overanalyze the Jets game and everything that went wrong.
No, I mean, I really thought that when Brady overthrew, that. See, it's not even about like, man, I was mad. I mean, first of all, I was at a friend's house and he had a Bud Light keg, and I had so much Bud Light, I physically was incapable of being mad at that point because I did what all of us wanted to do and just poured liquid forget me all over 2017.
Yeah.
But Yeah, okay.
Third
Sure,
down.
he overthrew Cooks on a long ball. I
Yeah.
mean, what am I getting mad about that? Like, it's freezing
2
cold
degrees out.
I know.
Football's like a brick.
I listened to, and Mike, I listened to, I don't know why I did this, but like I was getting some food ready for this New Year's party, and I listened to talk radio all that morning.
What?
And all sports talk radio did was for 2.5 hours. They're like, well, there's nothing to talk about here. So they just spent like 2.5 hours just going like, Cooks hasn't been good enough. He's been a disappointment.
Yeah.
Brady obviously has to be unhappy with his connection. Like, no wonder why. If I were the rest of the world, and I'm not, but if I were the rest of the world, I'd hate us too, because like the media will give you such a sour impression of Patriots coverage, Patriots fans. Like the rest of us aren't sitting at home just saying like Cooks is a huge bust. Yeah. I mean, maybe some people that make all their decisions based on their fantasy team, but like, yeah, and those people suck. But like, I'm not gonna worry. Like, okay, so he's had an okay first year. He hasn't lit the world on fire.
He's 24.
He's also, he's learning a new offense, and like everything can't be. Randy Moss had played in the league for 8 years when he came in and lit it up with Brady in 07.
Yeah, and I think you saw the same thing with Randy Moss, especially in like 09 without Welker, is that you always wanted that deep threat guy, but they can't do it alone. You need that element of your offense, but like if you're gonna choose who not to have, it's probably best to choose not to have that deep threat, because at least with Brady, if you have guys who can get open quick, which they don't really have as much as they used to, that they can still move the ball. So I think we're talking about what area should we be concerned. Disclaimer. In a one-game situation, which they might have 3 games left, they're going to be competitive with everybody. Like, we can talk about who they're missing, who their weaknesses might be. Oh, this keeps popping. But ultimately, it's going to be a one-game situation, and it's probably going to come down to the end, especially if they get to the Super Bowl, which we've seen every single time in, 7 Super Bowls. It comes down to the last play, and it goes one way or the other, and they win it or they lose it. So I think, but if we're going to talk about a weakness, third downs, and I wrote about it a couple weeks ago. It's just they've fallen off a cliff, and I mean they still finished 10th in the league on third down.
Or
offensively,
okay.
They still finished third down. I think finally Edelman kind of caught up with them a little bit at that point. And again, you're going to get White back, you're going to get Hogan back. We hope, and I think those 2 guys make a big difference on third down. But I think if you're going to focus on an area of like, all right, where could the Pats kind of be slowed down? It could be those third down plays. But if you've got Dion Lewis who's picking up 7-8 yards on first down, and you got to convert a 3rd and 3, it's not quite as hard. So area to focus on, I think, offensively. Defensively, just get Kyle Van Noy back, improve the athleticism. I think, with the defense now, we're just like, you white knuckle it. They're going to give up some plays, but usually they're going to stiffen up in the red zone, and they're not going to give up that many points. That's who they become, despite, oh my God, the Jets just made a big play on us. It's like that one thing, affects your whole interpretation, the whole defense for the season.
Right.
So, but at the end of the day, they're going to be competitive. It's going to come down to the end in these games. So
they can be competitive in the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, and the end of the day as well.
Any time of the day.
They want to.
Any time of the day.
Right.
Any weather.
Patriots have won 5 Super Bowls in the Belichick-Brady era by a combined 20 points. So their average margin of victory is 4 points.
Yeah. They never led in Super Bowl 51 until they won.
I hate to say it, but we're not going to see a Super Bowl blowout. Hopefully we'll see, if not multiple Super Bowl appearances, maybe another Super Bowl win or 2, but you're not going to get that Super Bowl blowout. These playoff games, they're going to be really tight. The NFL is all bunched up right now. Like there's no one who's that much better in the playoffs, and there are a and that are that much worse. And I think we're going to see them cleaned off the slate on Sunday. And congratulations for making it at 9-7 Buffalo, and that's great. And you got good on you guys for having the celebration that you did, because you ended a 19-year playoff drought, and the Bills Mafia is a banana town fan base. But in terms of looking at the Pats heading in, like, okay, yeah, third down offense, it's been pretty wonky, but they need those elements back, like a Hogan who's been out basically for 2 months now since the Chargers game, and you need James White back in. And third down defense as well. However, on the sign of encouragement, I would like to point out to everybody that the third down defense, how about this? Are you ready for this, everybody?
Mike
Reese tweeted out, defense held Jets 0 for 12 on third down Sunday.
Yeah.
No third downs were allowed.
But
Again,
it was Bryce Petty. It's the Jets. It was cold out.
I hate everything. The sun sucks. Sugar should go away. Come on.
Sugar should go away.
Whatever. Just anything that makes people happy or smile, or anything that brings brightness to this world. The Patriots also, Evan Lazar, who's a great follow too. Patriots defense finished the season ranked 5th in points per game allowed at 18.5. They had the #1 scoring defense in the NFL since Week 5 at 14 points per game. So there are signs of encouragement as well.
Oh, sure.
Streaking into the postseason. Last 3 games of the season, too, they beat 2 playoff teams. one on the road and one at home, and then they topped it off with an ass kicking of the Jets. So in the snot rocket party. So, but again, it's never going to be enough. We are absolutely the worst. We are the best. If one thing can be certain about, we are the best at being the worst. And that's why you come to Pat Show, because we're here to give you a bright ray of sunshine straight up your foxhole and remind you that all is good in the world.
We're the worst of the best of the worst.
Yeah. And we also enjoy your comments.
Yeah. Oh, we can
and your
fire,
questions, please.
We can do. Oh, yeah,
so, at any time during the show, go to facebook.com/Patshow6. That's where you're watching. I'm glad I said that. And chime in with your questions, and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yeah, let's do a little rapid fire-ish kind of for some of them. If you could choose only 2 deep threats, wide receiver, would it be Hogan, Dorsett, Britt, or Mitchell? Well, probably Hogan and Mitchell.
I'd say
we haven't seen any Dorsett out of Britt.
Because in 2016. Chris Hogan was the best downfield threat in football.
He was, and I think he's going to add a huge element. You know, most targeted guy on third down before he went out. Not to say that he's Edelman, but it just gives another reliable target. You know, where it's Brady doesn't get to the line and be like, not throwing it to Dorsett.
And this is what's awesome too about the way the schedule lined up, Mike, is that the fact that you didn't have to push everybody to play. You had to play for home field in the final game of the season, but they didn't have to go max effort. They could sit a bunch of guys like Branch, like James White, like Hogan, basically giving them a 3-week bye to rest up and recuperate for the divisional round game Saturday night, January 13th at 8:15 p.m. kickoff. Not like I'm counting the days and wish it was already Saturday. No big deal, guys. We're fine.
You gotta just relish this time, because it's like we're kind of in a stress-free period where like we know there's going to be a lot of stress next week when we finally focus on the opponent. But right now we're just like, we're in the playoffs. We're just
I know.
Who has a better chance for a breakout game, Money Mitchell, Hogan, or Cooks? I just don't think Money Mitchell's going to play. I mean, and even if he does,
because they have to make a decision a couple of days after the divisional game.
I don't know. I mean, maybe keep him on the roster, but I think it's got to be Hogan. I think it needs to be Hogan. I want it to be Hogan.
If he's not tentative, because the Hogan we saw in the Miami game for a couple plays was obviously super cautious that shoulder was going to get banged up again. Didn't have surgery, opted to rehab it out. It'll have been, I think, like I just said, over 2 months from the Chargers game to the divisional round game. So hopefully he can play with that reckless abandon that Crazy Eyes was playing with beforehand, because he'll make a huge difference.
And he's been practicing, so I mean, he should be in shape.
He'll be up to game speed.
He's you know, it's not like Malcolm Mitchell. He hasn't played a game since the Super Bowl. You know, like that. Worst opponent for the divisional, Hugo Mora asking KC 10 or Buffalo. I mean, it's got to be KC. I mean, Tennessee or Buffalo.
Tennessee. Tennessee, Ninkovich, please. Are you kidding me? Tennessee, that's the worst 9-7 playoff team I've ever. If there's any of the teams that don't, I mean, everyone deserves to be there, I guess. But if there's any team I don't fear, I think Tennessee is going to just get their balls handed to them Saturday.
You're a big Jacksonville man. You're a big Jacksonville fan.
No, well, that's Buffalo's playing Jacksonville.
Yeah.
I think Jacksonville's going to crush the Bills too.
Yeah,
I don't see the Bills coming. I mean, I'm already emotionally preparing.
Why would you do that? Let them dream.
Let them. Well, I'm not. If they're watching a Patriots Facebook live show to get their soul tap danced on, then they're as masochistic as I thought they were. Are you kidding me? Right now, we could have like an aerial camera shot live over Buffalo right now, and there will just be people throwing each other from buildings onto flaming tables covered in chili cheese Fritos everywhere.
Good for them.
And they should be.
Good for
It's amazing.
them.
And at the end of the show, stay tuned in case you haven't seen it. We'll show you by far our favorite Buffalo Bills Mafia reaction video to Andy Dalton's touchdown pass to Tyler Boyd to win it. Oh, and thank you, Andy. By the way, real quick before I forget, thanks, Andy Dalton. Not only, I don't care about you getting the Bills in. That's cool, but you took the Ravens out. Lost in all of this is the fact that you took the Ravens out as well. And how many playoff appearances since Deflategate for the Colts and the Ravens?
Is it somewhere between 0 and 0?
Nothing. Sucker.
Yeah.
All right, so keep your questions coming, and we'll get to them throughout the show. Now, we make our way to the Dr. Scholl's Insert of the Week. There's that theme music. Come on, you don't even have to clap. Clapping for sponsors, come on. Different. Actually, we should be clapping.
Yeah, come on.
Thank you. Damn it. Dr. Scholl's, this is what they make. Put them in your shoe when you run or walk. It'll make you feel better. They're great. No, seriously, it takes the pressure off. You know what this is? I wouldn't say these are like remember the stadium cushions you used to bring in like the 70s before they designed real seats in stadiums? What if like you were going to a game in a lousy football stadium and you had to get like a little seat cushion insert for like your butt because it's either going to freeze to the seat or it's just going to hurt sitting there for 3.5 hours. Well, that's like that, but for your feet. And I read that right off the back of
I
the
know.
That's the actual copy.
That's part of their actual
I read it right
ad
off the
campaign.
back.
It doesn't say that.
Dr. Scholl's Athletic Series running insoles. Tell them how awesome they are, Ian.
They are me. They are amazing.
Thank you. Okay, this week, my insert of the week offensively was Brandon Bolden. Why? Did he have a particularly effective or awesome game? Nope. Did he have gaudy statistics or touchdowns to brag about? Nope. But he didn't fumble, he carried the ball, and he made sure that they didn't have to play Rex Burkhead or James White and spelled Dion Lewis on occasion. So I can spell Dion Lewis too, Dionleweis. But so dumb. Say that 5 times fast. That. But they just needed a warm body. They just needed ball carrier.
He's perfect. He's been here forever. He knows this. He's not going to make a mistake. He'll probably be in the right position. He can kind of block on passing downs. You know, it was like he's the perfect. Just like you go. You're expendable. It's like Rambo. You know.
What an awesome mediocre football LinkedIn.
I know.
Hey, I can sort of come in there for you. I'm not really great. I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna not fumble. So there you
think he had a couple yards after contact too, which I think I mentioned a couple years ago. I did for every yard after contact Brandon Bolden had, I gave away a T-shirt, and I only had to give away 1 T-shirt. So. I might have to go two or three this week, but it was good.
I mean, he just got the job done.
Yeah.
Because Dion Lewis.
And we hope we never see him play running back again this season.
Because we might get Burkhead back for the division game, and it looks definitely trending like James White will be back for the division game too.
Yeah.
So, and the real insert of the week obviously was James Harrison because he came in, played 20 some odd snaps. High motor, finishes the game with a double sack-a-roni.
All business.
Awesome.
Did you see something like, he'd make a big play, and people like, yeah, and he'd just get up and be like, I'm running back to the sideline.
But my favorite thing, what was the 2 things that happened after the game? Like, he's just such a weird person. And I love that he's brought his
leg day
weird.
Monday. Is that
but they talked about what's the day after a big win with the new team like? He's like, Monday, it's leg day. All right, cool. I'm not going to mess with that man at all. Also, what else did he do? James Harrison describes teammates' reaction after tackling Robbie Anderson. That's the building of the brotherhood. Okay, I'm glad that he's into forming a new squad. This isn't just like a freelance thing. Like, he wants to be a teammate, which is great. And then the weirdest thing happened. There was a story that he was late for his interview by his locker. I don't know what he was doing. Maybe it just takes forever to shower the 10,000 pounds of muscle that he is. But he came back. He's like, oh, how long you guys been waiting for? 20
Chris
minutes.
Price.
Yeah, and then Chris Price, the great Chris Price, had to actually apply lotion to James Harrison in the locker room while he's doing his first Patriots post-game interview. It puts the lotion on the Debo if it wants the interview.
How do we not have me rubbing lotion on you to open Patshow today?
Oh, come on. All right, stop down. We're going to start over again, guys. Why did we? Damn it. Why did now everyone's going to want to see that.
Too late. Live show.
We can't do it next
maybe.
week. Now
it's playoffs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We're serious on play weeks.
It puts the lotion on the Debo if it wants the interview.
My insert of the week.
How about you?
Marquise Flowers. I think he's coming on a little bit.
He's getting it, man.
Last couple of weeks they played, I think, some 7 DB sets, and they had him as the sole linebacker, which they might pull back a little bit if Van Noy's back out there. But just adding an element of athleticism, he's starting to make some plays. He had a great sack that just kind of lined up perfectly for him. He was kind of on a delay, and the alley just opened up for him, and he blasted through it. So, if there's one point in the defense, I think we just need more of his athleticism out of linebacker. We'll talk about that a little bit in the breakdown zone. But, he's a guy who's kind of starting to emerge. Those always kind of happen end of year. Start to get playing time, improvement.
You want the read and react. And we talked earlier in the season about how Kyle Van Noy, like maybe a third to halfway through the season, finally got it.
Yep.
Like the Atlanta game.
Yep.
He sniffed out that fourth and goal at the 1 and blew up that play. He had a couple of tackles in the backfield where you could see like he was thinking
just
for the
anticipating.
offense.
He's letting the defense do the work and just get there.
And Marquise Flowers looks like he's starting to get it too. And if there's that surge of athleticism and also that they're able to read and react as opposed to over-process and be 2 steps behind.
Yeah,
Landon Roberts is often
guys like that.
Yeah, Ayers came in and got it pretty quick.
And then all of a sudden,
Landon Roberts gets it. He's just slow.
Yeah,
he's just like a slow London Fletcher.
This is all
right
good.
Size,
this is all
right
good
guy.
setup for the breakdown zone.
Exactly. I'd also like to point out real quick that the Patriots, the highest graded Patriots versus the Jets. Number 6 was Harrison, 5 Brady, 4 Trey Flowers, 3 Gilmore. Actually had a pretty decent game, couple breakups. 2 Malcolm Butler, And according to Pro Football Focus, the highest-rated Patriot against the Jets, Malcolm Brown. Somebody the Patriots need to, as we make way to the breakdown zone.
Yeah, I mean,
somebody's playing some big boy football.
Playing like a first-round pick. Right. He's really stepped up, and I think, you know, the drop-off of Alan Branch and then the injury of Alan Branch, Lawrence Guy's been good, but I think Malcolm Brown's really been the guy there in the middle. It's
Jerry Thornton said, I was watching, Jerry was at that New Year's party I was at, and he said, he's like, remember, Vince Wilfork came into the league first year, they win the Super Bowl, so we all think like, yeah, Wilfork must have been amazing. Wilfork was good the first couple of years, but it took him a while to finally get it and play that weird. Because the defensive tackle, nose tackle for the Pats,
well,
it's not a typical nose tackle.
Well, it's interesting because when you look at that 2004 team, I mean, they're playing 3-4 defense almost every snap. You know, I mean, it's not what you see today.
Yeah, it's Seymour and Warren who are just studs.
Fast forward to 2011 where they're just, I mean, Wilfork, you know, early on, he's just a nose tackle. But now they're putting him up and down the line, basically saying, oh, you love to run at that spot? We're going to put Vince Wilfork right there. And that, you know, it kind of, as the scheme evolved, he kind of was like that queen chess piece, which was, you know, and maybe they'll do more of that with Brown, but he's really effective inside. He's athletic, and he's.
It's a great asset for them to be for Patricia until he goes and takes the Lions job. That for Patricia to be able to, with his dusty beard and his pencil camera, Michael Rappaport. He's gone. Oh, Patricia's gone. If he doesn't get the Lions job,
can we talk about that for a second? I mean, how do you feel?
Want to do that now?
Like, well, just briefly, like, how do you feel about Matt Patricia being a head? No, I mean, no, I feel fine that he's leaving.
How do I feel about it? It sucks. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, that's right. Hold on.
Thank you.
Actually, from now on, we're not even going to say Ian. That's our pal Ian who runs Media Boss here. We're just going to say quintessential, angry, impossible to please New England fan. Hey, impossible to please New England fan, how do you feel about Matt Patricia possibly being the coach of the Lions?
You're a dick, Nick.
Thank you. But he, you know, I think that really, where does he start and Belichick end? Like, I just don't know anything. Like, I couldn't, if someone asked me, like, well, what is Matt Patricia's style? I'm like, Bill Belichick's kind of style. I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like he's the kind of guy where I'm hot.
I think he's a good defensive coordinator. Maybe he's going to be a great head coach. I just see.
Ask Buddy Ryan how it worked out.
Yeah. Well, he's dead, so I can't ask him. So.
You know, those are like epic defenses. But how's it?
When reached for comment, Buddy Ryan said,
Is that how Detroit's defense is going to look, though? Or are they going to come on and be like, wow, they're terrible, but they give up no points? You know, like, is that going to translate?
But that's exclusive. That's pretty much exclusive to New England. Maybe other fan bases share that sentiment, but that's a very New Englandy thing. No, there's the Titans and the Lions both have New England connections in the front office.
Yeah,
John Robinson runs the Titans, and
some other guy.
Other guy Jones. But they 100% would want to pull from the tree that they're comfortable.
I don't know. It's hard when you're under that Belichick umbrella. It's like, you know, I don't know.
Well, apparently they have the in-house candidate already groomed, even though he has been recruited. That's right. Even though he's being recruited as a possible candidate to take over for the now retired
Which seems
Bruce
even
Arians
crazier
in
to
Arizona.
me.
Brian Flores is going to get an interview in Arizona, apparently, for Bruce Arians. And by the way, Bruce Arians, I love you. Thank you for giving us 5 great years of head coach. You are the most entertaining figure on Hard Knocks I've seen in a long time. The fact that you can talk to the media like a businessman, and then when you talk to your players so as to seem urban, cool, hip, and fresh, you talk like Gary Oldman in True Romance. Man, what we got here is just another Chandler Jones on my defensive end. Yes, that's right. We'll be practicing today from 10 to 2. Man, this defense, I got P. Peterson up in here. He was amazing.
Dude, that's spot on. That's spot on. I think he's got like the kangaroo
He's got the scally cap.
The whole thing.
Man, my old bones, Larry Fitz, coming in making plays for me. That's right. Well,
now
it is what it is, and we'll give it 110%, guys.
His poor wife, he's retiring.
Awesome.
He's going to just hanging around the house talking to her like that now.
Gridiron gangster. I love him. But yeah, Brian Flores is probably the in-house candidate that'll take over as defensive coordinator. So we'll see how that goes. Again, we have all the best first world problems. When you're a fan of the Patriots, you're already thinking, oh, I wonder which in-house candidate will take over for our coordinators who the rest of the league wants to coach them. You're like, oh, geez, which of my Super Bowl shirts should I got 10 days to figure out which Super Bowl shirt to wear to the divisional round game.
Right.
Which of the 19 awesome running backs every other team wishes they had can Swiss Army knife their way to being the third down superstar? All the best problems. But since we are in New England and we're Pats fans, we have to highlight something negative. So Mike's going to show you one of the things he's worried about right now in the Energizer Ultimate Electro Breakdown Zone.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, Electro Breakdown Zone.
We're gonna do a quick chat here about a certain play that we've that we've seen a lot of. It's called the toss sweep, and really, it's every week you're seeing it, and it really started the toss sweep, and it really started against the Chiefs, and the Patriots just have real trouble with it. So the thing is that the Patriots, like we said, they're just lacking that athleticism, and so what I kind of want to talk about here is if we see this guy right here.
All right, a toss sweep. So
toss sweep. So what's
you feel good about the secondary? Like Patrick Chung, great season. McCourty's still good. Deron Harmon has a 0. The passer rating against Deron Harmon this year is 0.
0.
Yeah, which is amazing. So any balls, he doesn't get a lot of balls thrown his direction, obviously, because he's never usually in man coverage.
Yeah, yeah.
But he's great. McCourty, rock solid. Chung having a great year. Gilmore, Butler, definitely a cornerback combo, even if they give up a couple big plays that I know a ton of other teams would love to have.
Yeah.
But
the two areas,
the edge.
two things: the edge, set the edge, and athleticism at the linebacker position. Yep. And that's exactly what this play is going to do. Now, I don't want to zap it right now to have it unfold perfectly, as I'm sure it would. But so we'll kind of wing it here to begin with. Okay. But basically, the principle of the play is the quarterback's going to get the snap, and he's just going to toss it to this running back, and everybody is going to just start to move this way, and he's going to just try to come over here and get the edge. So if you set the edge, if you set this guy, if it's Eric Lee, and he just gets blasted back out of the way.
Again, special teamer on Buffalo's practice squad that has become the Ninkovich, Chris Long-Phil. And that's a lot to expect of him.
It is.
He's got good size, good speed, better pass rusher.
Out of safety?
Right. He's like an overgrown linebacker. He's like a safety linebacker hybrid who's playing defensive end. Being asked to take on 325-pound guys, tackles that are pulling, coming his way as the toss sweep play makes their way through.
And that's why you get James Harrison, because James Harrison, he's going to set this edge as I knock all my guys over here. But so, you know, that's a big thing. But then the other thing is you look at this middle linebacker who's Landon Roberts. Now, Landon Roberts is great coming downhill. If he sees it and he runs through the line.
Inline speed.
But if you're asking him to make a tackle over here, outside the numbers, it is going to be a long run for him. He's going to have to sift through blockers, defeat guys. It's just too hard. And so this is where the Patriots are struggling. If you watch Patriots games, I guarantee you're going to see this play run at least 5 times against them, especially in the playoffs. And if you got to see Kansas City again, they are going to keep on doing it. Because
they're going to run 2 plays the entire game.
That's going to be it.
Toss sweep and the bunch formation.
Yeah,
that's it.
And that sums up the defensive struggle.
It's a great snack, by the way. Toss and bunch.
I got to fit.
Crunch and bunch, toss and bunch.
Well, let's just see how it goes here now. We're gonna blast it as we jib down. Ready? All right, here we go. I'm gonna go full power.
Yeah, go full power. Yep. That's pretty much
chaos!
How it goes. Actually, they set a much better edge in your version.
It's like everybody's just dancing. Right. I mean, this is like a party right now. Looks like an all-Patriots party.
And if it's not, I've never felt it when it vibrated again. Yeah. Ooh. But the other play that always worries me is whenever you have, let's see, a Landon Roberts, and I see like a running back split right.
That's
and
another
like,
one.
Oh, good. They got Roberts and a running back in coverage.
Get back.
Right, that's good for 4. I wish he would. Because I'd much rather give up a 10-yard play
and then just come downhill and hammer him, right? Yeah.
As opposed to like, here, excuse me. Oh,
goodbye.
Right. Here we go. This is our average speed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 plays that concern me. Well, that's all right. That's the 3rd play. But toss sweep, number 1. The bunch formation, which still gives them fits. They've gotten better at it.
Yeah, they have.
Getting Eric Rowe back in there has helped a ton.
Sure.
But splitting running backs out on Landon Roberts.
You got Jordan Richards covering running backs a lot. And I mean, Jordan Richards is a player on this defense, which is kind of crazy.
I don't want to see
Jordan Richards has a role on this defense right now, and I mean, it's as scary as that sounds, but it's primarily covering running backs, and you know, so they have. I mean, look, they have their little holes. You know, they have little areas to attack. Every team's got them, but I think when you get Van Noy back, you add in Harrison to the mix. You know, you've got some guys that help those problems, but that they're on film. Those are the weaknesses, and that's what you're going to see.
Now, it wouldn't be a Pat show unless we had a couple of rando hiccups and whatnot. And, of course, your old pal Fitzy got a little bit ahead of himself and forgot to check the show order. So, instead of making our way from the insert of the week into the best of Pat's Tweedia, where we go over all of our favorite little bits of social media, Instagram, tweets, and whatnot, here comes the obnoxious New England fan.
Every week.
Every damn week.
But not this week.
No, every damn week. Every damn night. On the telephone?
Oh, let's not go down that.
First person who can name what movie that came from in the comments gets a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Okay. Every damn night. On the telephone?
If you
can type in the comments right now what movie that came from, I will send you
I'm watching
a
it
T-shirt.
live. I'm watching
so Mike will keep track of that. as we now give everyone here in Media Boss and Patshow Central a chance to technically reset. And now we'll do the bit we should have done 10 minutes ago, which is, of course, the best of Pat's Tweedia. Best Tweedia, yeah! All right, our favorite tweets.
We got a winner.
Who is it?
DJ Levitt.
Yep.
Yep. Weird Science. And he's also got, it looks
From
like
my heart and from
it looks
my
like
hand,
a Hog
why don't
Hannah.
people understand?
It looks like he's got a Hog Hannah shirt on. I might
Does
be
he
wrong.
really?
In his
Nice
profile,
job.
it might
So
be.
who's the winner?
DJ Levitt.
DJ Levitt. We will be sending.
And we got other ones. EB Silverman, Lane Westover. Thank you. You are also
nice
correct.
job, guys.
People
You're my
are-
kind of fans.
Interaction. We're interacting with the
Nice.
fans. This
Good
is
job.
great.
This fan interaction. Fan interaction. Great socials, guys. It's great.
Speaking of social
Show me your
media,
metrics.
who won
This is what happens when, God, like you just go completely off the rails when it's like we don't have a game to actually focus on, so we can just get like a little kooky. Next week we'll both like just like
we'll
be
so
sweating.
nervous. Be chewing nails the whole time. Yeah.
And if you guys have any extra fingernails for us to chew on, send them in to Patshow. That'd be great. Okay, you put this one in. This came from Diana Racine on ESPN. Was it? A source of the Patriots tells Bill Belichick ordered the field crew to place thermometers inside the Jets tunnel so New York is reminded how cold it is. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, he don't mess around, man. He don't mess around. I mean, it is all thought out, top to bottom, and even the beat guys were like, "That's true. There've never been thermometers there." But you know, this is like one of those things where like people were probably like, "Is that cheating somehow? Is he cheating? Can I call that cheating? Damn it, I can't call it cheating." Like you know, it's just one of those things where they
Wow, it is. It's 6 degrees, but that's ridiculous.
They take every advantage they can to try to get in your head, and I think that's why a fast start was what they wanted, because the Jets are like, we're down a touchdown at 6 degrees. Forget it.
The damn bus.
Just
I'll tell you what.
the season.
I'll tell you what, Mike. They played like they didn't even want to get off the damn bus on this given Sunday.
All right, moving on. That's a great tweet. Fear the Beard, by the way, one of the best fan follows on Twitter. Always puts up great old Patriots footage.
Games,
It does great threads with highlights and deep dives.
And like random
Just
names
in
like
fact,
03 Cliff
Kingsbury.
Kingsbury.
Like you've got to be a super Pats nerd like we are to appreciate the fact that Cliff Kingsbury had a cup of coffee with the Patriots.
We live for it.
Bills are in the playoffs for the first time since '99. Rams in the first time since 2003. Titans for the first time since '08. And the Jags for the first time since 2007 and hosting a home game for the first time since '99. It has been a wild year. It's kind of nice to just bring in some like
fresh
out
blood.
with the new and in with the old.
Yeah.
And it's weird. The fresh blood in this case is the old blood.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it. Like I love the fact that the Rams are good. I love the fact that the Titans are in now because I know they're just going to, provide fodder and entertainment on a Saturday. But they're just completely chum for the
best
chum
weekend
for
of the
Chiefs.
year. I love this weekend.
And the Jags, I mean, I'm predicting. I do. I love Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah. When the
Pats
Pats aren't playing, because
right.
you're just like, playoff football, no stress. Get to
Because
see
there's
some,
actual stress in the bye
play.
week in the middle of the year because you're like, I wonder if this guy's going to get healthy or like.
And they just traded Jamie Collins.
Right, they trade Jamie Collins every year, but like now we get to enjoy a whole week and you get to start matchup dreaming.
Totally.
Which is great too. I also love this. Was it the stat that in the NFC the top 3 quarterbacks heading in according to rankings are Nick Foles for the Eagles, Case Keenum, 3 in the top 4. Case Keenum for the Vikings, and the number 4 seed, they did this on purpose for the matchup, is Jared Goff for the Rams. I'll take the last 3 quarterbacks that Jeff Fisher coached with the Rams for $600. He sucked. He's
crazy.
The worst effing coach ever.
I know.
And now they're all good. And
This
now
was
they're
all pretty big indictment.
Foles good. It's a great indictment, exactly. Nick.
Video?
This must be a video?
Maybe?
It's the Batamosi. Yeah, this.
Oh.
Is this the?
It's just dark on that monitor.
It's just dark. Okay, is this the Batamosi play?
No, this is the 328.
Oh.
That's my windshield. Yeah, you guys can't see it. It was just dark on the monitor. Yeah, my car, which was actually has a flat tire, came to realize the other night I went out after a little snowstorm.
Yep.
And I noticed my car was covered in snow, and I was like, well, I got to do this. It's December 30th. I got to do this one last time. So I carved 328 into my windshield. Just
And then you
because,
PayPal'd me $6 for royalties.
Yeah, I PayPal'd you for royalties. And then, oddly enough, I wonder if there's a Falcons fan in my neighborhood because my tire was flat the next day. What the F? Oh, somebody saw me.
Shanked you.
Oh, thank you for that, guys.
Put him over the edge.
Is this next one the Batamosi video?
It is.
All right. This is
Classic
the greatest European soccer flop of all time. This is like LeBron must have watched this and been like, damn, I got to up my bad acting game. This is on the sidelines. One of the Jets makes a catch, runs over the sideline, and spikes the ball, and it bounces up perfectly and hits Batamosi. And you guys remember it, but the acting on this is just like the reaction.
The delay.
Oh my God, it's so good. All right, let's give it a watch.
There
it is.
Now.
Oh, down goes Batamosi. Like he waits. Anyone looking? Oh, what happened? Boom. And down goes Batamosi.
And the Oscar goes to Johnson Batamosi for his acting in...
for his performance, the worst sideline. Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone that didn't believe in me. I'd like to thank the Browns for letting me go to New England.
You like me. You really like me.
You like me. It took him like a full 2 seconds. That was in slow-mo for God's sakes.
I know. That was like one of those moments where you see it happen and you're like, that's going to be all over social media.
Do you love those
3,
moments?
2, 1.
3, exactly. Give it 10 seconds, check Twitter, and the Batamosi run is on. Next, all right, now we got some
look at
Bills
this guy.
love. Yeah.
This guy.
I know, that guy, he's the worst, right? One of the worst follows on there. Will the Patriots trade or cut Deion Lewis might have been the dumbest take of summer 2017. Think about it. That was like when people were looking for, because everyone was so high on the 19-0 hog in like
and
mid
James
to late
White
August.
and it's like, I mean, I think James White, it's an interesting story this year. I mean, I still think he's a vital piece, but it's like, it's so specific and like, especially on third downs, you know what I mean? Like he's just that like little utility piece now instead of like everyone's like, well, yeah, that great Super Bowl, he's going to play every snap now.
He's going to be the huge third down.
It was Deion Lewis in 2015. It's Deion Lewis in 2016. You know, I mean, 2016 he was still coming back. It was like, again, we said it before. Against Houston, and he got hurt against in the Super Bowl. But you know, I always say I feel like Deion Lewis should have had that game. That should have been Deion Lewis's MVP game. But maybe this year.
But hey, James White did his thing. Had a game, essentially scored a Super Bowl winning touchdown. Life's good, man. Next one. Jerry Thornton just kind of summing up the season and everything that everyone says about the Patriots.
Jerry Thornton.
Yeah, whatever, Jerry. Never forget what everyone was saying after the KC game or 4 weeks into the season. 13-3, number 1 seed, home field, another Patriots season. Wow.
Yeah, but they're limping in.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was back to what we said at the start of the show. Yeah, we can't. Sorry. I experienced happiness for a minute. I got to go back to being miserable. All right, next.
Here's a crazy football statistic for you.
Of Rob Gronkowski's 69 receptions, 57 went for first down. That's insane.
Yeah.
83% of his catches. And among those 60-plus catches, only Mike Evans and Julio Jones were anywhere close to Gronk.
Yeah.
So
it's down the field. You know, it's like deep threat. Everyone's crying about deep threat forever. It is down. He gets down the field. That seam, it's just a big problem.
He owns
big
that
problem.
Seam. He owns that seam. Who runs Bartertown? Gronk runs Seam Town. Next. And another thing about Gronk, this is just the fact that like everybody in the locker room and all the post-game interviews and his like the smile on his face in the post-game.
I know.
Just like the fact that like there's that story. I don't think I've ever told in the show before, but his high school basketball coach told the story about how he was, he was a great power forward in high school basketball, and Gronk was at the free throw line and they had 68 points. And he made the first free throw, and then he purposely took the ball, the second one, and hucked it at the backboard and missed as badly as he could, and then ran up the court, smiling at his coach and his teammates as the crowd went wild, played defense, and they finished with 69 points, and he wanted to be responsible.
It was
God,
like,
just never stop being Gronk. That's all I care
what's that,
about.
like pregame, like he goes up to Brady and he's like, I got 69 catches, and I don't want anyone diving at my knees in this game, so you know what to do, Tom. I'm like, I'm not. You're you're a decoy.
Yeah, you're a decoy.
Yeah, Super Bowl 46,
Super
46
Bowl 46
redux.
minus the crippling ankle injury. Next. Matt Chatham points out the fact that, you know what? Patriots aren't in the playoffs with one of the best defenses in the tournament. No one wants to tell you that. Everyone wants to tell you that the Patriots have a bad defense. Can't set the edge. Linebackers are slow. McCourty's lost a step.
Yeah.
One of the best defenses, and he says he's willing to bet the group least aware of this is the majority of their own fan base. Do you think Pats fans have come around on the defense actually being decent now, or is this a national media story?
I don't know. I'm a tough person to ask because I feel like I just try to ignore that stuff as much as possible, and I feel like everybody hates the defense, and it's just we've seen so much of it where they're like, oh, they finished 32nd in Football Outsiders rankings, and
the DVOA.
But they're 5th in points, or so ultimately I just think what it boils down to is they're a very well coached defense, and they certainly have guys who are a little less talented, but they all play together. They all do their job, as they say, as much of a cliche as it is. But that really goes a long way, as we've seen over the last 20 years of well coached football teams do well.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be one game situation. I know they're going to play hard for 60 minutes in the playoffs. Maybe they'll get exposed in the playoffs. Maybe they won't. You know, I think they're very good, but it's such an interesting question. I could go on for a whole Patshow about it, you know, where it's they don't have those guys that dictate. You know, like you're not looking at the Patriots defense and being
it's a whole team effort, but that's
we got to block him. But no, it's just everybody's kind of on the same page, and that's really, really effective, and it's hard to appreciate.
Last I checked, Belichick didn't care about catering to anyone else's narrative or expectations.
Yeah.
And that's why guys like Brady, when he has great seasons, minus a couple picks the last month, and guys like Gronk in general stick out. They're almost more outliers on the Patriots, not only this season, but in general over this double dynasty historic run, because it is usually a team-wide effort with a bunch of, you know, parts and pieces as opposed to guys that, you know, dominate. That's why these stats about Gronk stick out. But right now the defense is an entire chip-in, team-wide, little bits here and there and everywhere effort, which is great, and that's why.
Get Van Noy back, and you know, I'll feel.
And if they hold any team to under 20 in the playoffs, I think you can book your tickets for Mini Kid. Next.
Last one.
There we go. Oh, Cleveland.
Yeah. There's a jersey for everything. There's a jersey for everything.
Oh, Cleveland. Oh, Cleveland. I'm telling you, that's the thing. The Bills celebrating the way, Bills Mafia celebrating the way they did is exactly how you should celebrate when you live in Buffalo. All you've got is the Bills, and you live for football, and it's been 20 years. And if you're like that, that's why I say, like, the Cleveland Browns fans, they're awesome. Everybody should make a point of going to the Muni lot and celebrating. Like, go to a tailgate with the dogs in the dog pound. It's an awesome experience. They have the best sense of humor because their mantra is nobody beats us in the pregame. Like, they are the champions of everything up until 12:59 p.m. And they're right. And that's what makes it so fun. Another no-win season. So that means we've had 2 this decade. Yeah. Two in a decade.
Yeah.
Lions in 08 and now the Browns. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know where the next win is in sight, and I'm sure they see number 10 out there for San Francisco, and they're like, why, Belichick? Why? He could have been ours.
Yeah, that's the same thing some Patriots fans are saying, too.
There's another thing. I don't even want to get into the Jimmy G thing. I'm just enjoying it, admiring from afar. Sure, I wish they got more,
right
but
in the Jimmy G
gee whiz, I guess we'll have to settle for the greatest quarterback ever at age 40. Oh, man, Christmas is canceled. All right. Any other comments before we get on to the last couple bits?
No, let's take down some hot takes. We've kind of been doing that
let's
already,
do that,
but you know, let's sum it all. Let's boil it all down.
There we go.
I like that.
Wow,
I
you
like
get a little extra hot on that. That was nice. Anybody got a nice or a Ricola for angry Pats fan back there? All right, Mike, take it away.
Yeah. So I thought this was kind of class. This is just Bruce Allen, who's also a great media critic, but yeah, a columnist who's been here 5 minutes. Says this feels different. Don't appear ready to make a long playoff run. Do they? Why?
That was Tara Sullivan of the Boston Globe take.
Yeah.
Patriots don't appear ready to make a long playoff run. Why? Why? What the hell?
And who the hell is Tara Sullivan?
Right, and exactly. And get a note to the milkman. No more cheese.
Yeah.
I don't have any more T-shirts to give away. Otherwise, I would say, tell me what movie that's from. Next week, though. We'll play that game next week.
Yeah.
Patriots, what is it about? Okay, what is it about the right now? What is it about 13-3? What is it about this team that has everybody from unwatched take show on Fox Sports 7 here to new person writing for the Globe with the surging newspaper business? What is it about? Why can't everyone just appreciate? Why isn't 13-3 good enough? Sure, Brady threw a couple picks that, his Achilles hurts. Yeah, maybe his hand is dinged up, but guess what? He gets a week off, too, to make gluten-free biscuits and lay between Giselle's bosom and do everything he needs to do and drink his electrolytes. And sell more $200 books with, lots of pliability. He's going to be fine. It's going to be freezing cold in Foxborough, and
it's just a one-game situation. It's a one-game situation where you spend so much time in all of the games during the regular season where at the end of the game, you sit back and you say, okay, what can I extrapolate about the team generally from this one game? And okay, they were bad at this, so does that mean that they're bad at that and that's going to be their fatal flaw? And I mean, it's the point we've gotten to, and it's like you hope Browns fans, it's so weird someday for Browns fans to get to this point where everyone hates you because you're so good, and they're just like 13-3 with the first seed. Like, what would the Browns fans be saying at this point? They would be like, "We're going to the Super Bowl." There'd be no doubt in their mind that they were going to the Super Bowl.
The Browns have won one game the past 2 years. What's that meme that went around? Like, there's been more Star Wars movies released over the last 3 years than Browns wins? That's effing terrible. And here we are sitting at the 13th. The Patriots had more losses this year than the Browns have had wins over the last 3 seasons. And yet at the same time, here are people trying to look for the fatal flaw, trying to figure out why the Patriots aren't primed for a long postseason run, why they may disappoint at home in the divisional round. It's just, this is what happens when you're on top. Mankind's nature is to just need to just grab at the top and try to pull it down to into the Sarlacc pit of misery that is the rest of us. Well, sorry. They got the best coach, the best quarterback, the best tight end, and now arguably the best running back in the AFC. It's not going to happen.
I think this is really actually an interesting season, though. I was just reflecting upon the season, as I want to do after in between the playoffs. And, you know, like injury-wise, this season largely reflected 2013 and 2015, you know, where they just had a lot of key injuries. I mean, if you told me at the beginning of the season we lost Hightower, we lost Edelman, right there, you know, not to mention.
What if I told you at the start of the season the Patriots would be without Dante Hightower and Julian Edelman? You'd tell me I was crazy.
And both those seasons, they didn't get the top seed. They had to go to Denver, and largely that was probably why they didn't make the Super Bowl. I mean, those games, both maybe not 2013 as much as 2015, but those games might have been largely different.
2015 is still the most triggering one because of even with the injuries. A, Harper's muff. And B, the next week, the stupid Ebner pooch kick against the Eagles where they just turned all the momentum and fell apart. Victims of their own device and excessive creativity. So they would have won that Denver AFC Championship if it would have been a struggle.
But they probably would have pulled it out. And, you know, so it's just, it's hard to put this season in a box because it doesn't, like, you know, they're at home. They had a ton of injuries. They had critical injuries that probably should have killed them, but they didn't. And that's why it's like you talk about, oh, they limped. And it's like, well, you're referring to the injuries and the kind of struggles on third down as things kind of wound down. Even though you look at, like, the 2017 that struggled in December, you know, the weather changes. The games change. You're managing a lot more injuries. You know, there's a lot more factors into play where it's, you know, show me the team. I think it's such a myth of like, oh, you want to peak. You want to peak at December. Like, you look at like the Giants a couple years, they won it, where they were kind of up and down in December. You know, it's not building to a crescendo to a Super Bowl
win. That's that fake sports media narrative. Like, you want to be playing your best football after Thanksgiving through December, you know, into Christmas.
It's not true.
Some of these teams that won the Super Bowl sucked in December.
You want to just survive December. I feel like you want to just
survive
the ground in December, and I mean literally because the ground will be frozen and it's harder.
Literally, absolutely miserable.
You know.
So thank you very much, Tara Sullivan, for contributing to this.
To her covering the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I will fight you.
That got aggressive. I look forward to your Shaughnessy light takes often and frequently in the future.
Yeah, Shaughnessy's probably really upset about that.
Yeah, I'm sure,
you know what Shaughnessy was most upset about was that the fact that, the Ravens lost. The one team that isn't scared of the Patriots. It's just going to be handed to them
Which tomato
again.
can is going to make its way into you know, Kraft Stadium, into the Razor Saturday night?
Shut up. All right. So it's almost time to wrap things up here, but we wanted to definitely share with you this little bit because there's no Patriots game this week. So we got 4 wild card games this weekend, Saturday at 4. Let's do some quick takes on the wild card before we give you our moment of zen and wrap it up on another exciting episode of Pat Show. Okay, first one, 4:30 Saturday. We've got the Titans at the Chiefs.
The Titans at the Chiefs.
Yes. Tits at the chef. This is, to me, this is kind of a no-brainer. Mike Mularkey is going to be the first wild card coach to step in and get immediately fired after the game because there's no creativity whatsoever. Somehow you've taken, it's like being handed like truffles, or it's like being given a ribeye steak with Marcus Mariota, and they've somehow over a couple of years made him worse than when he came into the league. There's no, if I were them, I would just run Derrick Henry left, right, and up the middle. Every time and do play action for Mariota like once every 15 plays, but
there's like that slight thing in the back of my head though where it's like every now and then the Chiefs like lose to the Jets. You know, like every now and then the Chiefs, I don't know if that corresponds to the playoffs as much, but they always like all of a sudden just have like, wow, they kicked the Pats ass and then, you know, and then they look terrible. How did we lose? You know, they're one of those teams, but I think the Chiefs will be fine.
I think the Chiefs will be fine in this game. I think the Chiefs probably win by more than double digits going away.
ATL at LAR.
That's
a good one.
That's a good one. Freaking fun game. I cannot wait to watch that game Saturday night. I get the Rams only because I think
I know it's just a good event against conventional wisdom. You just, I mean, you know, based on everything you knew.
Defending
but
Super Bowl champion. Defending.
What?
Whoa! All right, guys.
What happened to 28-3?
Guys, I forgot to tell you guys. I'm from an alternate reality. In the upside down, the Falcons
Final
won.
score. 28-3.
That's why it's full of spiders and dust and black and white. You get the defending conference champion coming in against the team that was a nightmare factory and is now an offensive juggernaut.
Of themselves.
I think that I think you'll see just enough from them, and hopefully MVP. Please don't give it to Brady. In Todd Gurley, I think the Rams have too much offense at home. They don't even have a home field advantage. They play well in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think the Falcons will be okay, but I think the Rams will just score that much more.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, I just love seeing a good quarterback like Matt Ryan get put in that position, and obviously they've not been as good, but I think that'll be an interesting
Sunday
one.
we kick it off with
Buff?
Panthers. No, Sunday we go AFC again.
We go for the game that you probably wouldn't watch during the regular season.
Exactly. If we were talking about, we would never place any importance or emphasis.
I'm going to go to the grocery store real quick before the 4 p.m. start.
Yeah, no, seriously. Do all of your shopping and planning for the 4 o'clock game.
It'll be fun. I think the atmosphere, and I mean, we bust balls with the Bills and stuff, but I'm excited for all those fans, because at the end of the day, I always say, we all just like football. We like just watch our team. I know we stink.
It's football. It's wild card weekend.
But it's fun to see them. They're going to get after it. Jags fans are going to get after it. The atmosphere should be good, and probably Jacksonville should handle them if Buffalo scores a point.
I'm thinking like 19-3.
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, Buffalo has the worst running defense in the NFL, and if Fournette is 85%, if he's in anything close to form, then he should have a huge day. And as long as Bortles doesn't Bortles it. Now, if they put too much on Bortles, then maybe.
It's a lot of Bortles.
That's a lot of Bortles. Bortles, no. Oh, if he Bortles it up. Yeah, I got the Jags in that one. And then the 4 o'clock game Sunday is awesome.
Yeah, it's a good one. Bad blood
Panthers,
rivalry.
I know.
Interdivisional.
Good old NFC South tire iron fight.
Yeah, the 2 night games are the ones. The NFC games are
I think I got the
pretty
Panthers
exciting.
in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I could see.
Panthers, I could see. I either got Minnesota or the Panthers coming out of the NFC.
Yeah, I usually, I feel like Drew Brees, you can never rule him out, especially at home. It's a tall order. So I might lean Saints on that one.
That's a tough defense, though. Carolina is going to play a little extra fast on that turf.
All right, we'll see.
All right, well, yeah, I guess we will. I guess we'll have to wait
Not
until
that I
they
care.
play the games. All right, Buffalo, this is your week. This is your moment. You had your time. Here's our little moment of Gridiron Zen we wanted to share with you guys. Upon further review, check out this insanely fantastic Bills Mafia reaction to watching Andy Dalton on 4th and 12 throw a 50-yard touchdown to Tyler Boyd to end the Ravens season and send the Buffalo Bills, who no one circles the wagon better than, to the playoffs for the first time in 18 years.
Wait for it.
Hold.
Wait.
Hold. How does that not make you feel good? Even though they hate us, we don't hate them. I'm happy for you. I don't mean this in a condescending capacity either. I mean, I really, I'm thrilled for them.
I mean, I only get to that point Super Bowl victories. That was me when James went where. But
that's my
getting into the playoffs or checking off a box.
Exactly. So Bills are back in the playoffs. Sure, anything can happen. Anything is. If Kevin Garnett taught us one thing, Fitz, it's that it helps to be born tall. And yes, anything is possible. Okay, so we've covered a little bit of everything. We wrapped up the season. We told you to quit your bitching about the Pats being 13-3. A lot of guys are going to take some time off and get super healthy for the divisional round game. I'm calling chefs at the Pats in a rematch of the first week, the kickoff 2017.
Bring it.
Foxborough, through the disappointment. Please don't invite Mark Wahlberg to this game, Mr. Kraft. I don't want him anywhere near.
Can we quick pause? Did you see that he came out and admit that his kid wasn't sick at the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
His kid was just really mad.
On the floor, super mad and hurling F-bombs in the luxury
We're
box.
out.
Please. Just stay as far away
I would have just locked him in the
can.
closet.
Just stay as far away. Yeah, I'm not going to leave the Super Bowl for my kid. I'd be proud of my kid hurling F-bombs at the Super Bowl.
Fans want to know if you're going to any games.
I'm going to say I've got a beat on that AFC Championship. So if
Okay.
you've got an extra ticket and you want a really big Patriots fan to come with you, but I'm going to get there. Hell or high water.
That's
I've always dreamed of going to an AFC Championship at home, and this year I've got to make it happen. Assuming they beat, I'm not going to assume.
I was going to say, that's an ifs, buts, candies, nuts thing. Don't put the cart before the horse.
We were both
I'll be at the AFC Championship. Yeah, what,
we
in
were
Pittsburgh
both
if you keep talking like this?
We were both at the Chiefs game in the opening night, so I think we can't go to that first game.
No, we can't.
Win, lose, or draw.
However, no, I will be going to no games because I am the jinx and I've made the Red Sox, the Celtics, and the Patriots lose everything that I've gone to over the past 6 months. So I'll be watching from a distance if they make the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
If.
Like God.
Right, Pee-wee? This is like my 4th T-shirt reference movie line. Gee, that's a tough one, Nick. But For the AFC divisional round, we're going to be working on maybe organizing a bar party, like a watch party and a rally at a local place somewhere, maybe from Boston to the South Shore.
Do you have a bar?
Yeah, if you actually have, if you're watching this, if you see Patshow this week and you've got a bar somewhere from Metro West to downtown Boston, South Shore and beyond, and you would like to have a little, maybe a little Facebook Live, or even just like have us.
We'll just come. We'll just come watch the game.
We'll just bring our Pats pals. We'll fill. You know what? I'm sure you wouldn't want us. We'll just fill the place and just drink you dry and eat all your bar pizzas. So keep in touch at Pat's Propaganda, at Fitzy GFY. On behalf of everyone here at Media Boss, all of you amazing people in Patriots Nation, happy 2018. The Blitz for 6 is alive. Eat a bag of 6, everybody. Keep in touch with us. Enjoy your wild card weekend, and we will talk to you next week in preparation for Chiefs and Patriots in the divisional round. Until then, take care of yourselves and GFY, everyone. Theme song.
1, 2, 3, 28.
Yeah!
Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Talk about Brady and Edelman! Talk about Gronk and the stuff he did! Talk about Leonard and the Lonely! Let's talk about Belichick and his team! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow! Let's go! Patshow!
And we're clear.
Dude, we were up like